Okay, so this is going to be my very first cooking video I post on YouTube. I have no idea what I'm doing, but let's see how this goes. Please bear with my awkward and shaky footage as I try to juggle between my phone, knives, pots and pans, just as I try to juggle between work, the kids, housework, and life. You may even catch me cutting off a finger or something if you're lucky. Hopefully it'll be amusing for you, and you may even learn something. I know I'll learn something from all this in the comments you provide as well. I'm just a regular dad of two ridiculously adorable kids who's been cooking or doing kitchen work at home pretty much every day for the past 5 to 10 years. By no means would I call myself a pro, but I'm pretty darn good and can dish out some pretty delicious food with simple ingredients. I grew up from very humble beginnings, so I'd like to minimize waste and be adventurous with different flavors, textures, variety with whatever I can find that's a good deal. No filters, nothing super flashy or fancy, just real and simple meals on the table for you and the family. Now this is a chicken bone broth that I made using nothing but chicken drumsticks, water, and a pressure cooker. I then threw in some dried shiitake mushrooms, followed by bonito flakes and dried sardines for our umami base. If you're lazy like me sometimes, I'll just use chicken bouillon and HonDashi powder that you can pick up from most Asian supermarkets. Here I use choy, in Cantonese pronounced yao choy or choy some. I bought about 2 weeks ago. As you can see, it's not sad and wilted like you'd expect after about 2 weeks. Proper storage is the key. In my full-time job, I deal with drugs and look after people at their sickest with heart disease. This is why I'm paranoid, and with young kids, the food I make is biased on the healthier end of the spectrum. I'm not a huge fan of following recipes for cooking because my philosophy is that good cooking should be felt out and learned through experimentation, trial and error with your own equipment, your own regular pantry items, your own preferences and taste buds, and the thought of buying something you're just probably gonna use once and let the rest expire makes me hurt a little inside. Here I'm slicing onions, which I'll saute later. This is how I want to teach my kids how to prep and store ingredients and put food on the table, which is the inspiration behind these videos. Hopefully they too can do their part in minimizing waste. Don't be a fool. Always use dark meat for this, trust me. I prepped these chicken drumsticks in a different video that's still in the editing phase, but it's pretty easy. Cut the meat and scrape it off the bone. Remove the skins by placing your knife perpendicular to the cutting board and dragging the skin as you shimmy your knife back and forth, then cut into smaller pieces. The amount of chicken you use is entirely up to you. Here I've started a collection of chicken bones I can use for a bone broth, for various other things, or even for the next time I want to make this again. Okay, going back to the broth. After extracting the umami goodness and reducing it down for about 10 minutes, I'll strain out the broth. Some recipes actually call for adding sugar into the broth, but I don't find that this is necessary if you do a good job reducing it down and just let the natural sweetness of the broth come out. Don't throw away those shiitake mushrooms. There's still plenty of good flavor, protein, fiber, and vitamins still left within them. Here I hit them with a little bit of salt, about a teaspoon of soy sauce, about a teaspoon of rice vinegar, and a light drizzle of sesame oil to give the overall dish a little bit more dimension and pop. Have your wok on medium-high heat, a little drizzle of olive oil, and toss in your onions to saute until they turn a little brown on the edges and translucent. Throw in the veggies and give it a good toss. The trick here is to not overcook the veggies, but have them a little bit browned. Then add a drizzle of soy sauce to help with the caramelization process. And give it a good few shakes again. Here I got all nervous recording and I messed up by not taking out the veggies first before pouring in the broth to cook the chicken.
Whoops.
Here, I rescued it. I'm a hero. Lightly season your chicken and toss it into the boiling broth and let it cook on high heat, and you can cover it with a lid if you want. Break up the pieces of chicken so they don't clump together and it'll cook a little bit more evenly. You can cover again if you think that it needs a little bit more time. Pay attention to the thicker pieces of chicken because those are the ones that are going to take a little bit longer. Here I added back some chicken broth to make up the losses from the evaporation to cover about 2/3 of the chicken. Here I decided to crack 4 eggs for this dish for 3 people. You can use 1 egg per person, but I like mine a little bit eggier, so that's why there's an extra one between 3 people. Give it a good whisk. Here I'm using chopsticks because that's what I'm familiar with. And pour it into your broth with the chicken on high heat. Just be careful not to overcook it. Just gently use a spatula to move it around until it starts to thicken. Add back your veggies and give it a light stir. And then ladle over your rice. Here I use medium grain white rice as it gives a creamier texture at the end versus something like long grain jasmine rice. As you saw earlier, I always make the maximum amount of rice my cooker can hold to maximize energy consumption, and so that I'll have extra for the next couple days that I can use for things like fried rice or curries. So this is my take on one of my favorite comfort foods, Oyakodon, that we found in Kyoto, Japan before kids and the pandemic. This Japanese staple, poetically translating to parent and child rice bowl, was first created in the late 1800s and is still extremely popular today. There's just something about a warm bowl of umami-rich eggy gooiness with some juicy bites of chicken and tender veggies mixed into rice that suits the cold and rainy weather we've been getting here lately. Let me know in the comments below what your favorite comfort food is, and maybe I'll do a video on that. Almost forgot my pickled shiitakes. Now for the ultimate taste test. Do you like it? You want more?
Dashi.
Yeah. I hope these videos from time to time will help you answer the question, what's for dinner tonight? And that you too can feel more confident putting good food on the table for yourself and family. Looks like we got a winner. Hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you in the next one. Stay safe.